when people say everything happens for a reason, it seems like it aligns with the way that you're speaking to of somebody was sent to challenge you. This experience is here to reveal where you still have a believed inherent limitation.
Hmm.
And I do not doubt the usefulness of the framework. I'm curious though, do you think that these meanings that we are placing on these circumstances are simply meanings that we're generating, or do you literally believe that these experiences are sent to you?
I believe that we create our reality. And how do we do that? Person wakes up in the morning. If I asked you or asked anybody, would you rather be limited or unlimited? Is anybody going to say limited? Is anybody going to say, I want to be limited, somehow energetically blocked? No one's going to say that. So subconsciously, everyone wakes up in the morning saying, I want to be unlimited. That desire to be unlimited is like a signal. It's like an energy you put out to the universe. The universe then matches that energy, says, okay, you want to be unlimited? I now have to audit every part of yourself that is limited. So the universe then starts to detox limited beliefs that you have. You will then be tested in any area you feel limited. So for example, if you believe that you have to suffer to be successful, this is one of the most common and limited beliefs in wealth generation. And I've seen when people transform this belief, wealth comes to them so quickly. But there are people who believe, oh, I need to suffer. I need to struggle. It's got to be hard. If it's not hard, it doesn't work. It's not real. So they put a signal out to the universe. The universe says, okay, for you to be happy, you need to suffer to be wealthy? Okay, because otherwise you're not going to believe it. I'll generate suffering for you. This person will suffer for years. I always say, I never am friends with somebody who has drama in their life. Why? Because there's some belief system they have that drama is good. There's some belief system or desire they have that they need drama. Now, they'll always tell you, I don't like drama. I don't want drama. But why are they always attracting it? Why are they always tripping at the finish line of every project they have? Because they get more pleasure out of failing and having everyone feel bad for them than they do in completing the project. There are some people who are just successful in everything they do, and there's some people who every time they try something, they fail. The pattern is a result of something happening energetically inside of them. And what is that energy? It's they have subconscious desires and beliefs that are limited, that they are not aware of, and they're asking for this to come. I'll give you another example. I was talking to a group of women, all of which were in their late 30s. Each one was very successful in their life, and each one was single. And we were doing a little relationship course. And they said to me, we all want to find our man. How come we can't find? And these are beautiful, strong, intelligent, hardworking, successful women. Anything they do in the business world, they accomplish. But with relationships, for some reason, all of them doesn't work out. Either the guy leaves them, they leave the guy, doesn't matter. What did we realize? Outwardly, they're telling everybody, I desire a soulmate. But subconsciously, there's another desire that nobody knows about. Or a belief. They have a belief that being in a relationship will limit them. They have a belief that being in a relationship is going to hold them back in their career. They have a belief that being in a relationship means that they're now going to be controlled. And they don't want that. So what happens is they go on these great dates. They meet some guy they like, but after 3, 4, 5 dates, that subconscious belief comes up and says, sabotage this immediately, because if you continue and you stay in this relationship, you will be limited, you will be controlled, and you won't be successful anymore. So then they find a way to sabotage it. And there we are. And that cycle continues again and again and again. So what's the issue here? This woman, I told her, I want you every day to say out loud to the universe, relationships are expanding, not limiting. Relationships bring me more wealth, not less. She has to rewire her programming, her desires that she brought from past life or whatever that are limited. And by just rewiring that energy, she's now expanding her vessel to be able to receive the soulmate and the wealth and everything. Our life, everything we see is a product of our belief systems. If you believe a relationship is going to limit you, you are pushing every relationship away. I asked in my last seminar in Miami, I had 400 people there. 80% of them were women. I asked this woman who's trying to get married, I said, men are, finish the sentence for me. And she said, men are not to be trusted. Next woman, men are pieces of shit. Men are people who betray me. They believe that men are these. And I asked another one, what do you think? And she's like, men are amazing. Her dating life was amazing. She said, men are so attracted to me. Physically, they all kind of look the same. But this one kept getting dates because she believes that men are amazing. So every time a man comes into her energy sphere, he feels amazing because she believes men are amazing. This one that says men are not to be trusted, she kept attracting men who weren't trustworthy because that's her vibration. See, whatever we believe is granted to us. That is our reality. And what I love about this, know thyself. To know yourself is to know your conscious and unconscious desires, to know your conscious and unconscious beliefs. People don't realize, myself included, how many limited beliefs we have that are causing us not to have fulfillment. One last thing I'll tell you, majority of my life, I was broke, like didn't have a penny, because I believed, my early 20s, I used to teach this wisdom in Hollywood. It was big in Hollywood. So I would go to celebrities' homes, and I didn't even know who these celebrities were. I was so disconnected from them. But I would go to these homes and I would teach. They were famous, they were wealthy, they had everything. But one thing I noticed all the time is they were all miserable. And their kids always had problems. So I built a belief system that the more money and fame you have, the more miserable you become and more messed up your children are. This was a subconscious belief system. So my whole life, I avoided two things: to be on social media, right? So I'm 42, I'm almost 42. I only started to be on Instagram 18 months ago. I had no social media for my whole life. Even though I'm teaching this wisdom, I wanted to never have fame or never be known. And I said, I don't want to be paid for anything. So I always had $1,000 in my bank account, pretty much all the way up to like my mid-30s. Because I believed you can't have wealth and be spiritual. You can't have wealth and have a great family. And then I realized one day, wait, that's a limited belief. I said, you can be wealthy and spiritual. You can be wealthy and have great children. And from that moment, the energy shifted and everything came. So that's like a personal example in my life where my own limitations were just blocking me for decades. And we all have them. We all created some kind of belief system in our mind about so many different things. That's why I love this name.
Yeah.
बाजार में एक नया कॉन्टूर पिलो आया है। ये मेडिकल ग्रेड एयरवे सपोर्ट देता है जो आपकी गर्दन और रीढ़ को परफेक्ट तरीके से सीधा रखता है। सच कहें तो ये चीज कमाल की है। ये खुद ब खुद एडजस्ट होकर हर पोजीशन में तुरंत परफेक्ट सपोर्ट देता है। चाहे आप करवट लेकर सोएं, पीठ के बल या पेट के बल, आपको तकिया ठीक करने या फुलाने की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। और यही असली वजह है कि इससे सांस लेना इतना आसान हो जाता है। ज्यादातर तकिए सिर को बहुत नीचे धंसा देते हैं या बहुत आगे धकेल देते हैं, जिससे एयरवे संकरा हो जाता है और फेफड़ों को ऑक्सीजन पाने के लिए दोगुनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है। बड़ी कंपनियां सालों से लोगों को बेवकूफ बना रही हैं। हर साल नए तकिए खरीदवाकर पैसे वसूल रही हैं, गुस्सोदी हैं। लेकिन हर चीज की एक हद होती है ना? लेकिन ये चीज पूरी गेम ही बदल देती है। इसके सामने बाकी सारे तकिए बेकार लगते हैं। इसका फोम आपकी गर्दन और सिर को बिल्कुल सही पोजीशन में रखता है ताकि एयरवे पूरी तरह खुला रहे। जैसे ही आप लेटेंगे, फर्क तुरंत महसूस होगा। ऐसा लगेगा जैसे रात भर बिना मेहनत के आसानी से सांस ले पा रहे हों। बस इसे देखिए, ये सच में हैरान कर देने वाला है। इसकी सबसे खास बात है इसका पेटेंटेड सपोर्ट विंग्स और शोल्डर आर्च डिजाइन। यही इसे आम स्टोर में मिलने वाले तकियों से कई गुना बेहतर बनाता है। अब यहाँ से कहानी और दिलचस्प हो जाती है। ये टेक्नोलॉजी पहले मेडिकल क्लिनिक और फिजिकल थेरेपी सेंटर्स में पोस्चर सुधारने के लिए बनाई गई थी। बाद में एक स्लीप इंजीनियर ने इसे घर में रोजाना इस्तेमाल के लिए दोबारा डिजाइन किया, वो भी सारे प्रीमियम फीचर्स के साथ। जब उसने इसे आम लोगों तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश की तो बड़ी कंपनियों ने उसे रोकने की कोशिश की। फिर उसने क्या किया? उसने सोचा, अब मैं इसे इतना बेहतर बनाऊंगा कि कोई मुझे रोक ही ना सके। वो इंजीनियरिंग का जीनियस।
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I resonate with a lot of what you shared. I think it's like when the flower blossoms, the bees will come. There is an inherent magnetic quality to being whole and recognizing that state within yourself. The Buddhist understanding is that there's sort of four types of people. There's the individuals who are moving from darkness to darkness, darkness to light, light to darkness, and light to light. We probably all know individuals that for whatever reason, they come from a background of addiction or trauma, but they reform themselves and they're moving towards that sense of wholeness.
So someone's always on one of those four paths.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person.
Yep. That like energy is always in motion. And so you're moving more towards wholeness and you're coming from wholeness, or one of the other one of the
And
other
when it's light to light, what's an example of that?
meaning you've recognized the source of yourself. You could say the light of the creator. You have a connection with yourself, not just a belief in wholeness, but an experience of wholeness. And you recognize that from that place of overflow, you want to give, you want to serve, you don't want to take the fruits of your recognition and labor and just turn it inwards and service the self.
So you take it to another level of manifesting and giving outward.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think there's just we agree on a lot of this, and there's just like slightly different language, you know, like by focusing on the root, then you'll get the fruit. A lot of people want to have the fruit, the result, the relationship, the success, right? But the focusing on the light that sort of bifurcates into all the different colors is the same analogy of focusing on the root and the environment where the seed is nurtured and then blooms and to bear the many fruits, whatever it might be, which is always like, I feel like life always has a greater plan of what those fruits are than our own preconceived notions, which are always informed by family or society and culture, which is inherently limiting. And so I'm sure in your experience, it sounds like when you shared your story, you've been very surprised by what's come in. It was greater than you could have imagined by focusing on the root and the source first.
100%. You said something powerful earlier. You said, a lot of people just believe, everything happens for a reason. And I think a lot of people do believe that, but they stop there often instead of saying, well, let's understand what that reason is so that it never happens again. So that's where this wisdom takes it to another level. Okay, something happens for a reason. Let's understand now.
I was referring to that, but I don't actually, I believe that most people, like, everything happens for a reason when you give it a reason. And that the meaning that we are placing to various events are largely self-induced.
So then in that case, what should we be doing? What is the direction you would give someone when something happens in their life?
Like for just random challenges.
Let's say someone comes to you with a challenge. I don't know. Has someone recently come to you with a difficult challenge that they went through in their lives? Maybe a friend or someone in your community.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it?
For sure.
Make it practical. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I would say that
you don't have to use names, but let's say what would be a challenge?
We could pull up a random example, but I would say that depending on who the person are, and I'm curious because there's probably, you notice an archetype of people that are attracted to your work. And people, I'm sure you see similar themes come up, and the context that you give for the challenges that come in their life are very helpful for certain people. For certain other people, they might need a different path or a different language to have a sense of meaning for why the things that are happening are happening. And so I'm sure, I'm happy to go into an example.
Yeah, do you have one?
Of somebody coming to me with a challenge?
I mean, you know your audience better. I've always learned that we talk on a very high level, energetically, and then the moment we bring down to an example, then people are like, wait, I really relate to that, or I can really now connect and understand what both of them said. That's why I'm asking, because it also helps me, because you're saying powerful things, and I want to be able to understand it in a practical way. When someone has come to you and with a problem, and obviously they're looking for help, energy, support, someone that maybe you love or you care about. I'm curious how you walk them through that challenge.
In a roundabout way, like if somebody has come to me recently with like a relationship struggle where they seem to keep meeting the pattern that is a reflection of the beliefs they have in themselves about, like what you said, like what men are or why nothing concrete seems to stay in their life. I find this important balance of acknowledging somebody's reality and having empathy for their human emotional experience and landscape. And also, as they're ready to like hear what could be the potential projections that we are placing on our external relationships that are a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, which these beliefs, like you mentioned, very much so are. Like we will continue to meet in reality the things we have resistance to internally. And so we're going to be met with experiences that show us and reveal to us where we have resistance to what is.
So someone comes to you, and I love that you said this. First thing you do is really create that safe space for them to empathize with their situation, help them be seen and heard. Like that's the most important thing, which by the way, I couldn't agree with more. instead of jumping into a solution or trying to like fix their problem, just building that connection. And then you're saying that right after that, you will help them see their own limiting beliefs that have been attracting the similar relationships over and over again.
If it calls for it in the moment and I can provide some sort of reflection that's supportive in that context, I will. I also think that we have, which is sort of contrasts a bit with the sort of understanding that certainty is more in the direction of the light of the creator. I think that life is inherently uncertain and that our need for knowing what's going to happen and the certainty of what's going to happen in my relationships or in my life externally limits us quite drastically. So I definitely don't try to come saying I know all the answers or know what's going to happen. And like finding ease in that sense of wholeness and like trust that things are unfolding in a greater way than we can currently pinpoint and connect the dots to, I think it's certainly at least just been helpful in my own journey, you know, where I want to know or have a certain level of success or an outcome that's desired. But things
what would that be for you, if I could ask?
I mean, from when I first started, certain like more business focused things of a certain level of results of outcome or finances to
with especially with this, to bring this wisdom, this energy, this platform out to the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And have you set goals like that already?
I used to set a lot of goals, and you know, we have some like loosely kind of like we have an ideal for what we want to do this year in terms of viewership.
Yeah.
But we've become so process oriented and realized that by focusing on what the systems are and the root of the operation and the level of conversation, like everything else in the results stem from doing the foundational things very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, kind of goes hand in hand with our own internal life, from the physiological to the psychological and emotional lens. By like taking care of the foundation of our internal experience, then a lot of these heightened experiences can come to us.
Well, if it's okay that I may ask, because I'm always thinking the viewer is listening, and I think they're very curious. I don't know if you've ever spoken about it on a show, but I'm sure everyone's thinking, what is it that you do to manifest success? Do you set goals? Do you set small goals, but then mainly focus on some of the foundational concepts? Do you approach it more spiritually? Do you approach it more physically? And I'm curious, I don't know if anyone's ever asked you, but let's say you have a goal for viewership. And is there a number, for example? Have you thought of a number of souls you want to reach or people you want to reach?
I think that for like this year, we'll probably do around like 5 million viewers per month.
5 million viewers per month.
Yeah, so that's like, I feel like that's probably, with everything that we're doing, like that's a goal we have internally as a team.
Okay, beautiful. And when you set that as a goal, then working backwards, what are you doing both physically and spiritually? And this is a masterclass in just manifestation of business, which I think is really fascinating. I always love learning how other people do it. What do you do, and how do you bring that to your team, to yourself? Like, how do you live your life to make sure that you manifest that goal?
So I will just, with one caveat, is that I think that oftentimes I and others can fall into the tendency to give advice for the current stage of life that we're at that maybe other people aren't at. Like I did different things on the journey up, coming to where I am, like I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
But there are, I feel like, and we probably both agree, there are fundamental principles that support you no matter where you are.
No matter where you are on the journey. That's right.
So physically, and then I want to get back to you.
Sure.
I appreciate you flipping
I'm sorry
the questions.
I flipped it on you. I'm genuinely curious.
Sure.
I'm sure the audience is too, if you've never talked about it.
Yeah. The physical stuff is quite boring and is quite practical in terms of how to create a world-class team and culture that binds it to have
I don't think that's
mission.
boring at all. I think that's very important. So you do focus on talent.
Yeah, for sure.
You know how to attract talent. Do you see it? Do you see it right away? Some people are just notorious at picking people who seem good on paper and then end up being really bad. What's your way of choosing talent?
It's such an intuitive process, man. I don't know if I can say there is a level of attunement to what the actual goal is and being aligned on that, and like having an energetic kind of just resonance there.
Yeah.
You know, I've just done like a dozen interviews with people for a position on the podcast this past week, and you can have the technical capacities and the skills without that, and it's meaningless. And vice versa. You want somebody to, you know, be a real ninja when it comes to being detail oriented, right, and all of those things.
You know, the best founders, always their number one skill set was intuitively knowing who to hire, even if the resumes made no sense. And for me, it was always, even if I had somebody with an amazing resume, if my nervous system was off when I was around them, I knew that was the universe telling me, looks good, but it won't be.
Mhm.
And I've always kind of followed that, which I love that you say that, because that is probably one of the most powerful, most important skills to have as a founder, is to know how to choose talent and to trust in your intuition when you pick them.
Yeah. And I mean, the physical and the quote unquote spiritual, I think, coincide quite nicely. Because, like, for me, I've just seen direction is way more important than speed. So by seeing clearly what it is I want, what wants to come through me, is the direction that's going to be serving this planet and this community the most, then from that point, I can make decisions from a place of clarity instead of shoulds. You know, like I should do X, Y, and Z numbers because everyone, like, there's just a chart. And once you're on the chart, you want to be better on the chart. You know, it's like, it's sort of goals devoid of anything that's really like going to be really meaningful.
So you're very clear about your desires, and you make sure to communicate that properly to your team.
Increasingly more. I think that's the trick, at least for me.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That's so good. I've also noticed, because when I do business coaching with people and they're telling me they want to do this, within the first 15 minutes, I'm like, you're spoken for 15 minutes and I have no clue what you want. People are not clear about what they want. They say general things like, I want this, but they're not truly clear. And if you're not clear what you want, the universe is very confused about what you want. Like, the creator can't give you something or at least guide you towards it if you're not clear about what you want. And if you can't convey that to your team, then your team is confused. They're just coming in, they're just kind of working. And something else I've learned when building great culture, the number one thing that keeps it an employee, or to keep someone on your team, is when they are clear about the mission that they are fighting for. They're not there for the paycheck. They're not there for the perks of being there. They get energy when you are clear about your path and mission, and that they are working towards that, which is what you just said. And I love that.
कार्टून जटिल विचारों को समझना आसान बना देते हैं और सिखाने व बेचने में बेहद असरदार होते हैं। लेकिन आपको ये बताने के बजाय कि टूनबी कितना शानदार है, क्यों ना मैं आपको दिखाई दूं। मान लीजिए हमें एक मधुमक्खी चाहिए जो गुरुत्वाकर्षण के नियम को समझा रही हो, और बस 1 सेकंड में सब कुछ तैयार हो जाता है। मान लीजिए कि आपको किसी ऑनलाइन ऐप के लिए डिस्काउंट प्रोमो वीडियो चाहिए। बस इतना टाइप कर दीजिए और हमारी एआई आपके लिए सब संभाल लेगी। और याद रखिए, ये सिर्फ एनिमेशन नहीं है, ये एआई संचालित कहानी कहने का तरीका है। कार्टून वीडियो बनाना इससे पहले कभी इतना आसान नहीं था। अगर आप माउस क्लिक कर सकते हैं तो आप कुछ ही मिनटों में स्टूडियो क्वालिटी के कार्टून वीडियो बना सकते हैं। इस वीडियो में हर एनिमेशन टूनबी से ही बनाया गया है और आप अभी भी देख रहे हैं। ये साबित करता है कि कार्टून वीडियो कितने आकर्षक होते हैं। कार्टून वीडियो बेहतर तरीके से शिक्षा देते हैं, ज्यादा देर तक ध्यान खींचते हैं और तेजी से कन्वर्ट करते हैं, जिससे ये आपके बिजनेस के लिए सबसे समझदारी भरे निवेशों में से एक बन जाते हैं। तो बात ये है, अगर आप अभी toonbee.ai पर जाएं, तो आप देखेंगे कि टूनबी एक मासिक सेवा के रूप में बेचा जाता है। लेकिन आज इसी पेज पर आपके पास एक अनोखा मौका है। हम टूनबी को एक बार की एक मुश्त भुगतान पर दे रहे हैं। हालांकि ये ऑफर सिर्फ 1000 यूजर्स तक ही सीमित है। जैसे हम उस संख्या तक पहुंचेंगे, टूनबी फिर से मासिक मूल्य पर चला जाएगा। और सच कहूं तो मासिक कीमत पर भी एक बेहतरीन सौदा रहेगा। सिर्फ एक एनिमेटेड वीडियो आउटसोर्स करने में ही इस पूरे ऑफर से ज्यादा खर्च आ सकता है। मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि आपको अपने बनाए वीडियो बहुत पसंद आएंगे, इसलिए मैं इसे पूरी तरह से जोखिम मुक्त फैसला बना रहा हूं। अगर आप टूनबी इस्तेमाल करते हैं और आपको लगे कि ये आपके लिए नहीं है, तो आपको बिना किसी सवाल के आपके पैसे वापस मिल जाएंगे। तो अब जब आपके पास कोई जोखिम नहीं है, नीचे दिए गए बाय नाउ बटन पर क्लिक करें और अपना एक मुश्त एक्सेस लॉक कर लें, इससे पहले कि ये ऑफर खत्म हो जाए। आइए जल्दी से दोहराते हैं कि आपको आज ही टूनबी क्यों लेना चाहिए। शानदार कार्टून वीडियो बनाएं, किसी भी आइडिया को पूरी तरह एनिमेटेड कहानी में बदलें, एआई की मदद से स्क्रिप्ट्स अपने आप जनरेट करें, वॉइस ओवर और म्यूजिक तुरंत तैयार करें, हमेशा के लिए जटिल एडिटिंग से छुटकारा पाएं, प्रोडक्शन पर हजारों रुपए बचाएं और भी ज्यादा ध्यान आकर्षित करें, इंगेजमेंट बढ़ाएं और ज्यादा बिक्री करें। तो अगर आप एजेंसियों की तुलना में बहुत कम कीमत पर स्टूडियो ग्रेड कार्टून वीडियो बनाना चाहते हैं, तो नीचे दिए गए बटन पर क्लिक करें और अभी टूनबी प्राप्त करें। अपने आइडियाज को आज ही यादगार एनिमेटेड कहानियों में बदलें। नीचे क्लिक करके अपना एक मुश्त ऑफर सुरक्षित करें। हजारों क्रिएटर्स से जुड़े बिना किसी बार बार लगने वाली फीस के, और मैं सच में इंतजार नहीं कर सकता कि आप टूनबी के अंदर क्या क्या क्रिएट करते हैं। मिलते हैं मेंबर्स ही लिया ने।
Your company is quietly pushing you out and you know it. Now at 40 and above, your experience.
It's cool to see how business is this unique mirror and very much so like a spiritual path, I feel like, because like you mentioned how you had this belief of money is the root of all evil, like rich people if you're going to have any level of fame, notoriety, or wealth, you're kind of destined to be a shitty person because it's so prevalent in maybe what you were seeing. But like actually viewing business and cultivating a team and an environment as the many opportunities they are to like put into practice the values that you say you
100%.
are true and aligned for you is cool. And so it seems like that's been a constant theme for you as you've been growing Mary Ruth. And
Yeah. And I remember giving a seminar in Toronto, and probably a few hundred people there, and I noticed that cohort of people, that audience, a lot of them were like physicians or coaches or people teaching spirituality. Like these are like service providers, people who want to like do good. And the main limited belief they all had was we shouldn't make money or charge a lot for helping people. And so what happened was they were having these businesses that they couldn't scale. They weren't reaching the people they wanted to reach because, they were charging maybe $50 for their time an hour, or $100, or they didn't want to charge too much, or giving constantly their time away for free, which I totally understand. So their belief system is, it is not spiritual if I charge to help people. So how could I ever do that? When in reality, if they run a successful business that is profitable, they will be able to reach more people. They will be able to employ more people, and they will also not have to be beholden to investors and banks and other people who then start to control the energy of your company. What Mary Ruth and I always said, profit is freedom. And when we start to have investors who control us, so their agenda energetically is coming out into the business. Every single person listening, you should be as profitable as possible, because that is the way you can give the most to everyone and not be the effect of other people's energy when you start to need their money. Because needing other people's money, then you lose your power. You always will lose your power. You'll have to do what they want you to do, or there's going to be fights or confusion and so on and so forth.
how do you, when people come to you and they want to create an abundant reality, not just from the financial perspective, but from a sense of wholeness where you can see that reflection in all areas of life, and they feel they have these intuitive hits, these desires for what they want to create, what is your perspective on the place that desire holds in our life? Because I think traditionally it's seen as something from like a lot of the contemplative or spiritual practices as something to be transcended instead of honored,
Yeah, the sages actually say that desire is the most powerful quality you have. It's actually the only quality we have. So while some people are saying you should not have a desire, you should actually have the greatest desire possible, because that expands your vessel to be able to receive the totality, reveal the totality of the creator in this world. And when the light of the creator is revealed, then we have peace in the world. We have darkness goes away. So you don't want to shrink your desire. You actually want to expand it to desire everything. The problem with ego, the problem with taking things personally, the problem with being reactive is that you're thinking very small. When you're sitting there focused on why isn't this person liking me, or where's this validation I should have, it's a very small desire. You want one person to like you. Why don't you expand your desire to have 8 billion people like you? And so some people think, well, being the president of a country is like a really big thing you can work for. Like being the president of the United States, you can be so powerful. What about being the president of the universe? Like controlling all of the forces in this world. And the way you do that is by elevating yourself to become like the creator. Then you control this whole world. Being the president of a country is actually thinking very small. Getting offended by something and dwelling on that and what they said and how they hurt you, just thinking so small. I just want my little desire to be liked. Somebody come fulfill it. Please tell me that. It's so limited. So expand your desire. The only reason you're upset right now is because you're not expanding your desire. You're so focused on something so small. Think really big picture, like you're meant for something so great. And when you do that, when you expand and think really big picture, then this painful thing you're going through, you realize it's not even a big deal anymore. It's like so stupid. So that's one thing about desire that is just so important. Do not diminish your desire, and don't let pain make you shrink and think smaller. In fact, you should double down on thinking even bigger than ever before. You reminded me of something. Warren Buffett said something that I actually found to be very spiritual. He said, if you take all the money of the world and then take it from everyone and then distribute it equally to every single person, so 8 billion people, each person has the same amount of money. There's no doubt that within 10 years, all the money will go back to where it first came from, which means that it's not the money. Each person represents a vessel, a desire. The person who has $1 billion has a greater desire than the person who has $10. And so everyone will receive according to what their desire is. The spiritual work is to purify those desires and look for the limitations in those desires. And again, being angry, for example, being an angry person or a controlling person just means you have a small desire. So I don't tell people transform your anger to be a good person or a spiritual or religious person or even a balanced person. Transform your desire because it's clogging your vessel. It's making you really small. Like there's no energy can't go into a person who's angry. Energy can't go into a person who's controlling. The reason why when people let go and they surrender, like they see miracles, is because letting go is the expansion of the desire. You're so fixated. It's got to happen. This relationship's got to happen. This deal's got to happen. I'm so fixated. Let it go. And then it comes. Because when you let go, now you created space for energy to come in. So that's something else. Like people who are listening, if something, you're trying so hard to manifest something, probably it's time now to let it go. Don't let go of your desire. Let go of needing it to happen a certain way or through that person. I had this girl that she was so fixated on her breakup. She said, he's my soulmate, he's my soulmate, he's my soulmate. She was just trying to get him back constantly. And finally, when she let it go, most amazing things came. But we're so fixated, we know that's mine. This person's mine, or that business is mine, or that home is mine. Maybe not. Maybe you think it is, but the universe wants to give you something so much bigger.
Priya, did you make this cake?
I did. Lemon.
At least she's good at something.
Q3 review meets expectations.
I closed 4 accounts this quarter. Neha closed 2. She got exceeds.
Reviews aren't just about numbers.
Then what are they about?
Let's talk about your development areas. Going forward, I'm adding Morrison, Freeman, and the full Henderson portfolio to your scope.
That's 3 people's work.
Everyone's carrying more. We're restructuring.
This is on top of my current accounts.
Correct.
And if I deliver all of it?
We'll reassess.
Okay.
She's still got needs.
The file needs to be thicker. 2 more quarters.
And the new scope?
Nobody delivers 5 accounts and Morrison and Freeman. Nobody.
And if she does?
She won't.
Priya, Vikram wants the Kelimigan brief added to your list by Wednesday.
Got it. How many now? 6 active, 2 in pipeline. That's not restructuring, that's something else. I know. No.
Is that the Freeman analysis?
Done. Sent this morning.
It's not due until Friday.
I know. 6 accounts closed. Morrison, Freeman, Henderson portfolio, all of it. 3 days early. And this is my review history. 3 years. My numbers next to my scores, next to everyone else's numbers and their scores. The gap is consistent, and it's only on mine.
Effective immediately, Priya moves to Senior Director. Priya, I just wanted to say...
Nobody delivers 5 accounts in Morrison and Freeman. Nobody. How? Coursive, AI certificate program, 28 days, 15 minutes a day. They're running a promo right now, won't be this price for long. Send me the link. Already did.
AI is not replacing you. Slow reading is. Because slow readers are slow learners. And for slow learners, the world seems to move faster.
My name is Rajneesh and I am the world champion in speed reading and intelligence. Let me explain how you can read multiple books in a week. You need to read faster to save time. Normally, people read about 150 to 200 words per minute, which will take you about 5 to 10 hours to read one book. Light speed readers read a book in just 30 to 60 minutes. You need to focus at least 1 to 2 hours at a stretch without getting distracted while you're reading. You need to recall almost all of what you read without taking notes if that is possible. You need to know what to read. Is it book?
Yeah, it almost feels like the desires for what we think we want are, it's like the motivating force to reveal what's really meant for us. Because like if we were I use this analogy quite a bit of like driving from here to, let's say, New York. At nighttime, you can't see the full distance of across the full way, but your headlights illuminate the next 100, 200 feet ahead of you, right? You see more as you go further, you see further. Now, as you're like on that journey of what I feel like is the recognition of your wholeness, of seeing that manifest externally, there are a few sort of guardrails that really support, which I've heard you refer to as the evil eye, just things that become subconscious constraints. One is like the need for approval, which we sort of talked to. Another one is like gossip and unnecessarily sharing something when it's in its early stages.
Yeah.
So I would love to just get your perspective on what are a couple of those predominant things we should focus on to protect the thing as it's growing.
That's a great point. The seed level of something is always the most fragile, right? And we affect each other energetically all the time. For example, if someone is making you a pizza and they hate you and they're meditating that this pizza, they're putting all this negative energy in the pizza and they're hoping that you suffer by eating this pizza. And it's the same pizza anybody else would make. Do you feel comfortable eating that pizza versus if your mom made you a pizza and with so much love and energy? Would you feel as comfortable eating both? No one's going to feel comfortable, or at least not the same level of comfort, eating the pizza someone who meditated and energetically hope that you die or hope that you suffer. So in life, every time someone is wishing for you to suffer or hoping that you suffer, they are in certain ways kind of breaking down this protective shield of energy that you have around you, like your aura. And they're creating holes for spiritual and physical viruses to get in. Now, the way you make yourself immune to this is you can only be affected by someone's jealousy and evil eye when you're needy of something from them. If you depend on them or you need something from them, now their energy can affect you. But if you don't need them for anything, then their energy can't affect you. And I'll give you an example. Like if I'm giving a seminar and I go out into the audience and I'm trying to give a topic that I think is very helpful. If I need my audience to like me, approve of me, if I need them for my sustenance, like, oh God, they bought a ticket to my seminar, now I have more money, now I can live a better life. Like as soon as I become needy of them, I'm now the effect of them. I'm now dependent on their energy, which means that they have the ability to penetrate my energy. The secret to life is to only be needy or dependent on the light of the Creator. Now, the light of the Creator might get other people to give you money and give you things, but it's not those people. So if one person doesn't like you, it's okay. If they like you, it's okay too. It's good either way. It's not about you and it's not about them. So jealousy and evil eye is a real thing. When someone wants you to suffer and fall, like that's an energetic intelligence that's being transferred. The same way that we want people to pray for us when we're sick, they can do the opposite to us to make us sick if they really want, but only if you create that opening for them. You create that opening by you need them. I need you to like me. I need you to approve of me. Look at me. Like if you post something and you want everybody to look at what you're doing and see how successful you are or how good looking you are, how beautiful you are, you want them to see, you're now creating an opening in your aura for them to come in and take also. So show your beauty, show your wealth, fine, but don't ever do it with the intention of trying to get them to like you. If you want to inspire, that's different, right? Because I know a lot of people will hide everything because they're so scared. No, I don't talk about it much, but I think it's important that people know that we're successful because people will be inspired by success. But if I'm using any of my success to get you to like me or respect me for me, then I'm creating a vulnerability on a soul level. I try to avoid telling anybody about things I'm working on in the very beginning. There's always something always goes wrong for some reason. There's always some kind of sabotage. Other energies start influencing it. Just keep it protected. Like a seed planted in the ground, we conceal it, and then the tree can bloom. But if you keep uncovering the seed and showing it to the public, the seed's not going to grow. It's always like that.
Seems like it's a similar energy in terms of gossip or speaking in a way that is about bringing about negativity in some form. What are your thoughts on the negativity that perpetuates from gossip?
There's no doubt. We speak about an average of 16,000 words a day. Every word the sages say creates an energy intelligence, like an angel. Positive or negative? Positive means it will elevate you to closer place of happiness, fulfillment, positivity, whatever. A negative force means it will lower you. So anxiety, stress, fear, that's all can be induced by these words. If I'm speaking badly about somebody, and there's about 10 categories of evil speech. So for example, one category is I say something about you to ruin your character. Another one is lying. Another one is complaining. Another one is any words that I say to get someone's approval, like a brown nosing type thing. And so there's 10 categories. Every time we use words that fall into those 10 categories, we create a negative force or negative angel. That then causes this vibration of negativity both in us and in other people. So when people are around us, they feel drained. People around us, they feel like something's wrong. When they're around us, they don't feel like they want to be around us. They can't even explain it. And for ourselves, when a person has a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, it probably means they're using their words in the wrong way. And when people go on these like Vipassana retreats, when they don't talk for like a week, they always come back saying they're so elevated. They like have psychic abilities, intuition, things, they're hearing things, seeing things, everybody. People aren't even spiritual. Why? Because for 1 week, you finally stopped speaking negative speech, which most of your days were probably 98% negative speech. Every time you put yourself down as negative speech, every time you say words that are limiting as negative speech. So it's endless. So when people don't speak for a week, they see miracles. So more conscious someone can be of, and we all fall for it, but the easiest path to miracles is to be so conscious of what you're saying. And also, I never trust someone who speaks badly about other people. Like, most likely they're going to speak badly about you. If you go out on a date and they start speaking badly about their ex and how horrible their ex was, that's such a red flag because you know at some point, most likely you're going to be an ex, right? It doesn't mean that this relationship is going to last forever. So they're going to be speaking badly about you to the next guy or the next woman. So we inherently trust people who are very conscious of their words and only say words to build. That's the litmus test. Are these words building or are they destroying? And we don't see the whole picture anyway. So sometimes when we talk about somebody, we don't see their whole picture. Be like, oh, he's such an asshole. He's such a jerk. He's always late. He's always this. We don't know why. We don't know why he was late or why he did this. Like, we don't see the whole picture. And every time you judge someone, you end up having to go through it yourself. So let's say if you judge someone for being overweight, your metabolism slows down. If you judge someone for being in a chaotic relationship and you think you know everything about relationships, but look at them, they're always fighting, you'll start fighting with your partner. Just will happen. The reason why the universe set it up that way is empathy. To get back to that oneness of consciousness and wholeness, we have to feel each other's pain and we have to have empathy. When you're judging someone, it's the opposite. So the universe has to put you through situations to break you so that you can feel the same pain as them. And I've seen this so many times. People are always, oh, look at this person. They can't grow their business. It's so easy. Just manifest. That person, the next 6 months, their business will fall. They'll get hit with lawsuits. They'll go through issues and challenges. And they'll realize, wait, you know what? It's not as easy as I thought. I shouldn't. And they're going to realize now they can bond with the other person because they both are failing. Now there's unity. So be very careful by not seeing the negativity in other people, because then you're going to have to go through it yourself.
I just found a brand new AI tool that allows anybody to create realistic AI-generated videos in seconds. You simply just describe the video that you want, and boom, it goes off and gets created. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what tool you could use to do this, how to use it, and I'm going to share with you 3 crazy use cases that you could use this tool for, and how you could benefit from making AI-generated content. Now, that brand new AI tool that I'm talking about is HeyGen, but in specific, their video agent that literally just got released. Because with this, you could simply describe exactly what you're imagining, and it is going to transform it into a multi-scene talking video in just a few minutes. And the capabilities for this are absolutely nuts. So let's go through this quick. First and foremost, you could choose between vertical or between landscape. You could come over here and adjust the length of this, which is pretty crazy. You could do a 15 or 30-second video, or you could do up to 3 minutes, and you can actually do multiple 3-minute videos and stitch them together outside of this in an editing platform if you wanted to make the content longer than that. In addition to that, you can come over here and you can choose different assets. You could upload them from the device. You could reference them inside of here, for example, and you'll be able to see all the different things that I've uploaded. For example, I uploaded this character, or if we click on avatar, we could go through all the different avatars. We could go through my avatars that I have because I've personally created AI avatars of myself. I could come to my favorites or public avatars right here. In addition to that, if we click right here, we could go through all the different speaking voices.
What are some practices that have supported you in increasing your intuitive capacity in channel and prayer? So like, how do you think of intuition and prayer to help put more fuel on the fire, so to speak, of your
That's
desires?
a great question. Now, the most successful product that we have in our company today is one that came through prayer. So it's like a liquid hair growth product that we created to compete with Nutrafol years ago. But we're not a hair brand. We're a family brand or a kids brand. And I was walking one day, and this is what I do. Every day I try to, at least for 15 minutes to 2 hours, I'll walk. I'll listen to music, sometimes not. And I'll talk out loud to the universe, talk out loud to the creator. Because prayer is really words in any language out loud where you're talking to this energy force. The words create vessels that hold this energy. So I will talk to the creator, I will talk to the universe as if I'm talking to you. I'll be like, tell me what I should do. Guide me to what's the best thing. What do I need to change about myself? How do I get more certainty in my life? How do I get more, whatever it is? Like I'm just talking in a way, asking questions, awakening more desire to be able to hold higher levels of energy. But one of the things I do is, let's say I need to hire someone. How do I find this person? Show me how to hire them. Where am I? Bring them to me. I'll say those things out loud. My executive team today, 90% of them are people that I just prayed for, and they came randomly through LinkedIn, through friends, whatever. As opposed to having like headhunters who know exactly what they're doing. I've noticed prayer, I attract the best type of people. So there was one year I said, what